In this video, I'll show you how to build a budget tracker in Notion, enhanced with advanced features to give you deeper insight into your spendings. You'll be able to set budget for categories like food, utilities, and entertainment, track total spending and remaining budget for the month, and use Notion's native charts and automations for better control. For this template, you'll need two databases, one for categories and another for expenses. Let's get started and build a powerful tool to manage your finances. Start by creating two table views, one for categories and another for expenses. Type /table and select table in line for each, naming them categories and expenses. Hide the database title for both. Click the three dots next to the name and toggle off Show Database Title. And use a heading block for titles like Budget Categories and Expense Log for clarity. For a minimal look, hide the vertical lines in both table views. On the Layout in the three dots menu, delete the default text property in both databases. Then add a number property called Monthly Budget in the Categories database and format it to your preferred currency. Fill in example data, adding as many categories as needed, like groceries, rent, subscriptions, and assigning a unique icon to each for quick recognition. This sets up a clean foundation for tracking. In the expenses database, add properties to capture key details. Create a date property for the purchase date, a number property for the amount, formatted as currency, a text property for notes, and a file media property to attach PDFs or images of the receipts. Hide the notes and file properties from the table view if you don't need them visible. Populate the expenses view with example data to test the setup. For advanced functionality, add a select property called payment method with options like cash, credit card, or debit to track how you paid, which is useful for analyzing spending patterns. This ensures your expense log is detailed and flexible for later analysis. Link the expenses database to the categories database using a relation property. In the expenses database, add a relation property. Select the categories database. Set the limit to one page and toggle on Show on Category. Show the category property in the expenses table view. Then assign expenses to categories from the dropdown. In the categories database, hide the relation property from the table view for a cleaner look. And on each category page, add an icon to the relation property and set it to show as minimum. This connection organizes expenses by category, making it easier to track spending. To calculate the spending, use a rollup property in the categories database. First, in the expense database, add a formula property called current month amount to filter expenses for the current month. Use this filter I'm showing right now. This checks if the expense date matches the current month and year, returning the amount if true or 0 if not. Format it as a currency. Add an icon like money and set it to always hide since it's for calculation. I'll include the formula in the description for copying. In the categories database, add a rollup property called spend this month. Select the expenses database, choose the current month amount property, and set it to calculate the sum, formatted as currency. This ensures only current month expenses are summed per category. In the categories database, add a formula property called remaining budget with this formula I'm using right now. Format it as currency to see how much budget remains. Next, create a formula property called budget used percent to visualize spending. Format it as a percentage. Toggle on Show as progress ring and choose a color like green or orange. Add icons to both properties for a polished look. At the bottom of the categories table, enable calculations. Click Calculate below each column to show the total number of categories, sum of monthly budgets, total spend, and total remaining. The rollup may not display as currency, so add a formula property formatted as currency and hide the original rollup. This gives you a clear overview of your budget status. For the expenses view, which will grow over time, use Notion's grouping feature. Click Group in the three-dot menu, select the date property, set it to relative to month, and sort by newest first. This creates toggles for each month to show or hide expenses, with the option to calculate the sum of expenses per month. Enable calculate sum for the amount column in each group. This makes it easy to review monthly spending trends without scrolling through a long list. To view expenses per category, create a page template in the categories database. Copy the link to the expenses table view. Click copy link to view in the three-dot menu. Then create a new template in the categories database. Paste the link to create a linked database view and add a filter. Select the category relation property and set it to this page. Apply this template to each category page by opening the page and selecting the template. This shows only the expenses for that category, streamlining analysis. For example, you can see all grocery expenses on the groceries page without clutter. Add Notion's native charts for deeper insights. In the categories database, create a new view called spending trends and select line charts. Set the x-axis to name, which is the category names, and the y-axis to the spent this month. Set to sum and formatted as currency. Choose a bold color scheme and enable show data labels for clarity. Next, in the expenses database, create a monthly overview chart view with bar charts. Set the x-axis to date grouped by month and the y-axis to amount sum currency and sort by day ascending. Enable a stack by category to see how each category contributes to monthly spending. These charts update automatically, showing spending patterns at a glance. Free plans get one chart. Notion Plus unlocks unlimited charts. For advanced tracking, add a formula property in the categories database called Overspending Alert with the formula I'm using right now. Format as text and add a warning emoji. This alerts you if you exceeded your budget for any category, making it easier to adjust spending. Hide it from the table view if you prefer a cleaner look, but check it on the category page. If you're on Notion Plus, use repeating templates to automate expense entries. In the expenses database, create a template. Add default properties like today's date with a default icon and toggle on repeat to create a new page daily at midnight. This pre-fills an expense entry, saving time for frequent spenders. We can also add a select property in the template for quick category section, like default to miscellaneous. This reduces manual setup, especially for daily expenses like coffee or parking. To streamline the expenses database, create a page template, name it New Expense, and add a preferred icon, like a card, and set it as the default template. Every new expense page will now include this icon, keeping your tracker consistent. You can also add a default mode like Enter Details in the template to prompt accurate logging. That's how you create an advanced budget tracker in Notion, with linked databases, rollups, native charts, overspending alerts, and automations. You can track budgets, analyze spending trends, and manage expenses efficiently. The charts and alerts give you instant insights, while automations save time. Check out all the formulas I've used in the description. Give this video a like if it helped, and stay tuned for more Notion tutorials. See you in the next one.